Hello everybody. Just wait for a few people to come in. Hope you've had a nice weekend. I'm going to do the little gnome tutorial. Hi Sandra. It's really easy to do, to be fair. And then tonight I'm actually going to try and use the glue gun instead of sewing the bits on, so that might make it a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to get myself sorted, make sure I've got everything. I was hoping to get on about 5 minutes ago, but I lost my glue sticks and I found them now. Yeah, I've been doing a few, trying to come up with a few ideas this weekend of little crafts that we can do. And I've come up with some. They're not all sewing, but I think they're still quite nice. Hi Caroline! You come to watch the gnome tutorial. Hi Kelly. Hopefully, I mean, it's really easy, so don't be put off. You can either hand sew, the beards and things only need to be tacked on, so you can either hand sew them on or use a glue gun. So yeah, so I think we'll get started. I'm sure I've got everything, so we'll just make a start. So I'm going to angle the camera down onto the table, so hopefully, I think I'm going to invest in a different right, you can see the space here. Okay, so basically I've got a couple of old socks here. Now I've gone for white, just old white ones that I was actually just going to throw away, but this makes the body, so you know they're perfect for that. They can be any colour you want, because as you can see, you can just see the back of the sock. You don't really see the sock at all, so so that's fine. I bought this specially, actually. This kind of, I thought these were quite fun. So you'll get four hats out of this, because we're going to cut it there, and you can use the top and the bottom. What else have I got? I've got a bit of wadding, but again, instead of wadding, you can use just another pair of old socks. It doesn't have to be wadded. It's just to actually, I've put some rice in the bottom, and then that's just to weight it, and then I've used the wadding to just puff it out a bit. I've got a couple of headbands, because if you're not a great sewer, these are brilliant for what we need to do. On this particular gnome, to make his nose a bit pinker, I used I used a bit of lipstick, but I don't think that's quite right. I mean, it looks okay, but it was quite hard to put on. So I've found a palette of eyeshadow, so we're going to use the blush one for that. Couple of pairs of scissors, bit of paper to make a pattern for his beard, and a few bits and bobs to embellish. So we can do that, you know, with anything. Some cotton as well. So okay, we'll make a start. So we're going to do the base of we'll do the body first. So just get one sock. Okay, and in the sock, now I'm not great at this, I always spill it, so bear with me. Put a good chunk of rice, probably about, see, I'm already going to spill this. I'm not very good at this. Right, okay. Let's see if I can do it this way. Shake it out. I'm still finding bits of rice from the last tutorial I did. So for me, this is the hardest bit. There we go. Okay. So yeah, just you know, about a tennis ball size of rice, dried rice is what you need in there. Okay, and then I'm going to get myself a chunk of can you see? Okay. Oh. Hi, Dave. You on George's phone? Right. Okay. So so yeah. So all we need to do then is actually push in the wadding on top of the rice. Okay, just push it down. Maybe a bit more. So if you had a bag of, you know, if you had a pair of socks, just stuff the socks in on top of that. Okay, so then you've got a good shape there. So all you need to do is twist that and then turn the sock back on itself. And then when you pop it down like that, it kind of looks like that. That is it. Okay, now I'm going to use a bit of wadding here, but you could use a piece of cotton wool. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it in my hands, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. And what will happen is the friction of your hands will kind of get it into a ball. So that's actually getting harder, but I want that a bit smaller. So keep going. Okay, that will probably do. Okay, and then what we're going to do there is stuff that up about halfway to make his nose or her nose. Okay, now you need something to make that a bit rounder. So what I did was I got some cotton and I just tacked on to the end. Can you see this? There. And then I just went round, pulled it out a bit, went round, and then tacked it again. So I've just gone round with the cotton. I tried it with an elastic band, like some of the tutorials say, but I didn't like the finish on it. So this, I think, is a bit better because you can't really see the cotton. And then just finish off there. So it doesn't have to be, you know, perfect. A couple of times round is enough. And then see what happens there. You've created the nose. Okay, so this is the bit where, now bear in mind I used lipstick last time, so I'm not really sure. If you're a bit worried, what you can do is go to the back, lift the back up, and then just try a bit on the back of the sock underneath. And if you're quite happy with that finish, then you know you can go ahead on the front, and then when you pull that down, you don't see that at all. Okay, so, okay, Gnome, ready for your makeup? So just brush it onto just the nose area. Just kind of go quite lightly because you don't want it to be, see where I've gone quite dark there? It just doesn't look quite right, so I'll rub that in a bit. Okay. Do you like this, Caroline? You can have a go at this. Okay. So it's just to kind of give him a little pink nose, really. Okay. That'll do. So just, you know, take your time on it. It doesn't have to be, this quick. But you can kind of see it's pinker than the actual sock. So that's quite cute already. I mean, these come together really quickly as well, believe it or not. You 1 minute you're doing it and you're thinking, what am I doing? Next minute you've got a gnome. Okay, so move that out the way, move that out the way. So next bit we're going to do, actually I think we'll do his beard. Now I'm going to give this a go with the glue gun. I'll be honest with you, I've not done this with the glue gun. I sewed them on last time. So what I've got here is a mop. Cost me about, I don't know, it's a mop head. Cost me about £2.80 I think in the local Hammer and Tongs shop, the little hardware shop. So you could probably use wool would be a good one if you've got any wool, or some string. So, but what I did was I cut it quite high up, so it was quite long, far too long for the length of the beard. But I thought it would give me some, you know, give me some length that I could cut it to whatever, you know, rather than cutting it too short and then putting it on. So just cut that off. Okay, so let's give this a go. So I'm going to lay it down. So you want to kind of come, I would say about 1.5 inches either side of the nose. So I'm going to glue it about 2 inches, 1.5 inches from the top, and leave that bit extra up the top there, just to give me a bit of space to work with. Okay, so I'll put the glue gun in. And if you just give yourself, I mean, be careful with this, especially if you're using the glue gun with kids. Okay, just 1.5 inches or so, plenty. And then just a couple of strands at a time, just glue it on. I mean, this is easier than sewing them all on, but if you don't want to use the glue gun, if you haven't got one, then just, you know, hand sew them on. They don't need to be massively secure, just a little stitch in each one is all you need. Okay. Just across there. Okay. Just get that last one there, I think. Okay. And the same on the other side. Just a bit of glue on there. Quite satisfying glue guns, to be honest. Okay. And you just, can you see, just putting that on, even if you do one at a time, as long as you're quick before the glue dries. Like that, it's dripping down a bit, so I'm going to bring that up a little bit. So just put on as much as you want. You can go all the way around if you want, cover the sock completely. Just take your time. I'm going a bit quick because obviously it's a bit boring for you to watch me put every single strand on. But, okay. Oops. Okay, so what you've got there is, see the way it's kind of coming together? See that already? So obviously you've got the nose bit, so it's just a little bit of playing with the nose, really. So if you just put a bit of glue at the top of the nose and some underneath, and then what you can do is you can kind of bring it round. Fall a bit like that. Just want to make sure that it's actually glued at the top so it doesn't fall back down again. So you just need to go round the nose, really. Just keep adding a little bit of glue at a time. Now you can buy little finger covers for when you're working with the glue. You can always use an old pair of scissors or something just to press it into place. Okay, right, for the purpose of this I think we'll leave that at that because that looks probably about right. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that's all glued in at the top. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now you can do multiple layers on this. You know, put on as much as you like, take your time, and then all you need to do is, I'm just going to trim it a bit further down than I need to, and then I can see where I want it to be. Kind of, can you see? Just try and lift that up a little bit. Is that better? It's hard to angle this, to be honest. Okay, so I'll cut that a little bit more. I'm going to stand up so I can actually see underneath. So about there will be fine. I should have tied my own hair back, otherwise I'm going to cut that. So yeah, just trim it slowly, a little bit at a time. And that basically is it. Okay, so you kind of get the gist of that. Spend a bit more time on it, obviously. The more time you spend, the neater it's going to look. Okay, we'll move that to one side for now. So now we've got the stocking, or the sock that's going to turn into the hat. And if you just cut that in half on the heel there. And then the first one, I think we'll use this one, this side with the cuff. So if you turn it inside out, and then at the top, get your little hairband or piece of elastic. And at the top, if you just kind of fold it in on itself until it's all scrunched in together like this, just any old way, and then get your headband and then very tightly wind it round a couple of times. So a lot of, you could actually sew this if you wanted to, but you don't need to, because this is going to be shown. You're not going to see that. Okay, and then all we're going to do is turn that inside out. Okay, and basically that is that. Now, is that dry enough? Yes, that's dry enough. So all I'm going to do is pop his little hat on. And there, tuck those bits in, make sure you get them round properly. There is your first gnome. So that's pretty defo glue going in yours. Yeah, Caroline, I reckon maybe you'll get one for Christmas. I mean, not bad considering I've just thrown that together. That could be there a bit neater. What I did the first time actually was I used the sewing machine and I sewed all of these pieces together. I just put one after another, one after another. But when I tried to do that earlier on today to get it ready, it actually got chewed up into the sewing machine. So if you do that, be really, really careful. But you can just put them all out. You know, you could actually even get a bit of, you could probably get a bit of felt. Just cut a piece of felt and glue it onto the felt and then attach it to the top. But that is just so simple. And you can either embellish the hat or you can leave it the way it is. That one's, I'm going to leave that one the way it is. Okay, so the next one, oh God, back to the rice again. Yeah, it looks all right, doesn't it, Sandra, to be honest? Okay, get the rice in. Come on, Dawn, you can do this. Get in there. If anyone knows of a way of doing this easier, please let me know. I've got all the rice and all the cracks and all of me, the table. Okay, so don't forget to leave a little bit of that for your nose if you're using stuffing. I mean, you'll be able to pick stuffing up, you know, at most places. Actually, have a look at any old cushions that you might have. The idea of doing crafting is to actually use things that you've already got. I've got a couple of Christmas decorations coming up soon in the next week or two, where you can repurpose clothes. So again, all I've done is I've put the rice in the bottom, obviously for the weight, and also what it does is it gives a good shape to the bottom when you put it down. Twist it and then just fold it back over onto itself like that. Now all of this is up in the top, so you don't see it at all. So there you go. I'm going to have, let's switch that again. It is cute, isn't it, Erica? See, you can definitely do these. I'm sure you've got old socks, you've got rice, the fur. Now, this is fur I've bought for this, but if you've got any old Christmas stockings with a bit of fur on, try and think out the box what you can use, so you're not buying anything. You know, you can use all kinds of things. If you've got any old, do you know the Mongolian fur cushions that everybody seems to have? You know, things like that. You can make, I've got a pink one actually in the loft that I'm going to use for something, a craft. You can make a little pink gnome out of that with little pink, a pink beard, and try and find some pink socks. Okay, so again, what it does is just creates, with it being a wadding, it just creates the fibres to tighten up a bit when you do this. But again, just use a cotton wool ball if you haven't got anything suitable, if you're not using, and you could always put cotton wool actually in the top. That's a thought. Okay, so again, scrunch that up a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to get some cotton here. Where's my needle? I know where my needle is because I put it back in the pincushion, didn't I? Like I tell you all to do, so it's not everywhere on the floor. Okay. So again, just all I'm going to do is, you know, stitch this side here just to secure it. I don't even put a knot in, I just a couple of stitches and it's secured. Okay. I'm just going to cut the strands in there and then just scrunch up the nose a bit, so when you're going round it, you've got a nice secure shape. Make sure you catch it all. It's a little bit tricky, but once you've got, and it's funny because this one is a completely different shape to the last one, so they're always all a bit different. And that's the beauty of these, is because they are all different personalities. There we go. And I'm just going to cut that there. Needle back in the pincushion. Okay. More of a pokey nose, that one. Now I might, dare I, I've got a darker. See, this is my palette there, so I'm going to go with the darker one, but like before, I'm going to try it underneath just to see if I like it, because you don't want to ruin it. I actually quite like that. It's a bit dark, but I quite like that, so I think I'm going to do it. But I'm going to be very careful not to put too much on, so I'm going to dab it on and then try and rub it in. That's it. So it's a bit more rosy, that one. A bit of a rosy old man's nose. So you got to agree they're really simple to do, aren't they? Even the kids can do these, and they look really effective. You put them on a shelf somewhere. You know, and if you're using like old Christmas socks or something, you know, you buy new socks all the time because the heels go, but you can keep the tops to make little hats. Okay, so there's his nose, quite cute. Okay, so use a funnel. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I might try that next time. Right, okay. So the beard now. I've got this fur that I bought, picked it up fairly reasonably. Now, what I'm going to do, because the first one I cut it wrong when I was doing this, so it was a bit of a waste. So I'm going to make a quick pattern. I've just got an old, I was doing my Christmas cards last night, so I've just got an envelope that I wrote on wrong. And I'm going to kind of just make a very, very crude, very quick pattern. So I'm going to shape the bottom a bit. And a look at that. And then the nose bit, I'm just going to cut out a little bit at the top to begin with. Sit it underneath. Now I'm going to go deeper with that, I think, so it will sit higher up and hide in the hat area. So if you look at that, if I turn that round like that, see? So actually, that's probably about right, I would think. Yeah, just going to trim the bottom a bit, just ever so slightly. Okay, and then what you can do is you can just pin that to your fur, because this fur is quite expensive, so you know, you don't want to waste it. Now again, like I mentioned last week, when it comes to cutting out, I always cut the piece out so I've got a lot less to work with. Now this kind of fair, it does make a lot of mess, so try and pull it all off in one piece. Just put it to one side or have the hoover ready. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is cut round this because I know that's going to be the right shape for my little gnome. There's no waste then. And around the nose area, which is the most important really, because you want it to look seamless. You don't want it to have a big gap. Just going to pull all of that fur off there. Okay, pins back in the pin cushion. I'm so bossy. Right, okay. Now from the front, that looks a bit uneven. So if you just, because of the way the fur's sitting, so just trim it to where you want it to be. And it should look okay. Now, lay your gnome down and just check that you're happy with it. Looks okay to me. Now, I think I'm going to glue this one, but all you need to do if you're going to stitch it is stitch the corner there, stitch the corner there, corner there, and corner there. Don't worry about any of this. Don't worry, because it's going to go on a shelf. Nobody's playing with it. It's not a toy. It's just a little ornament. Okay, so on this, I'm going to keep it in place there. I'm just going to pull that down and I'm going to glue there and just stick it into place. Actually love the glue gun. Just hold it for a second. And the same on this side. Pull it down, glue it in place. Now, just be careful with your glue gun because it is hot, especially if you're getting the kids to do it. It will burn you if you touch it. So, okay, and that is that. Just going to leave that to one side. Now, I'm going to embellish this one a bit more. I'm going to just trim that off there a little bit, and I think, yeah, I'm going to roll that up a little bit so it looks like it's a little turn up on a hat, and then just pop that on his head like this. Find where you're happy with it. That's got a bit of a natural point there, so I might pop that there like that. I mean, that looks cute on its own, but I'm actually going to put some bells on the top. Now you can use, where did I get this from? Right Way. So again, another little local hardware store, and this twine is brilliant. It's great for wrapping presents with. Really cheap, goes a long way. Does it say how much is there? 45 metres for £1. That's so cheap. Okay, again, I picked up some little bells. You can get these in packs, so they're quite reasonable. So I'm going to just thread that through there if I can get it in. This just takes a bit of patience. Okay, so what I'm going to do to give it that layered look there, like this, one above the other, I'm just going to tie that one. Just tie that off. And then I'm going to add the other one. It's quite, it splits a bit there, so you have to be, you have good nails, or you just use a pin, you know, just to help you through it. So just use the pin to kind of push it through and then pick it up from the other side. Okay. So just level them out like that and then tie that in a knot. It's a bit trickier, this one, so try and hold it in place and then put it in your mouth maybe to hold on the side. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to bunch the top bit up. Pop it round like that. tighten it up so it's a bit of a bunched look at the top. A couple of knots. I'll give it 2 knots so it stays in place. And then tighten a bow. Just going to pull that through a little bit more and then trim it off. You could use ribbon actually, or I've got some black twine there, so whatever you fancy. And that is your other one. So there you go. Simple little holiday gnomes. So I hope you enjoyed that. So again, if you've made any, can you send me some photos? I like to see all the photos of what everybody's made. Again, try and think out the box. Think about what you can use in the way of. I mean, this is kind of, apart from the fair that I bought. A lot of this I've had around the house, so everybody's got rice, everybody's got old socks you can use. But yeah, really cute. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you at the next one. Take care. Bye bye.